Southern Rail Fan is the place for amazing videos of all types of trains. Southern Rail Fan, subscribe today.
Okie dokie, it's about 15 minutes till 8 or so here at Moody Town this morning, waiting on our first train, southbound grain train G681 with the BR549. Now, they run a ton last night, including 92 with the Seaboard Coastline Heritage Unit. 52 went through last night, an empty of some type. 93, yeah, and 53, I believe. So anyway, hopefully we'll catch a M652 today, maybe an empty, but other than that, I'm not sure what's going to be out on the line today. So here lately, and it's not necessarily just because of the repairs and replacement of ties they're doing, it's just become more and more a nocturnal line here lately, and it's bad for us, obviously, and it's terrible for our favorite guys that go by. I'm sure it's upsetting to have to pick up a daylight train off of somebody and run at night to the next division so they can pick up and run a daylight train. So anyway, we'll keep our thoughts and prayers for them. Maybe things will change around a little bit, but we're going to hang out here and catch this southbound loaded grain train. dokie, next up here at Moody Town is the local L248 that works out of Bostic. He's going to run up and work Baxter's, usually has covered hoppers for them. And I think he's either going to pick up some the cross tie gondolas here at Marion, or he may be even dropping off, or both. But anyway, we're going to catch him on his northbound trip.
Is the man.
Sweet. Okie dokie, we moved over, I'm by myself, I moved over to Clinch Cross. Down there you can see that's where the NS crosses over. And I'm waiting on northbound M692. Wish we could have caught it yesterday. It had a heritage unit on it, the Seaboard Coastline, but we're gonna catch today's. But I wanna walk down here, and that piece of equipment right there, I wanna show you something about it. Okie dokie, this is parked here at Marion. And it's got a track hoe on it with a grapple and a ramp. And this is a little higher than that would go onto a gondola car, but they could get down onto a gondola car. And they drive that track hoe, obviously up the ramp, onto the gondola car. And that's how they unload new cross ties out of the gondola cars. And here's this looks fairly new, this little machine. Now that's, like I said, that's called a track hoe. That's called a grapple. Now there's a machine called a front end loader and backhoe. And it has something similar to this on it, but it has a bucket for digging in the ground. And on the front end of it, it's got a wider bucket that it can lift up stuff and put in a dump truck. Well, there was a young man in Nicholasville, Kentucky, years and years ago, had one of those single track hoes, single backhoe and front end loader combinations, and was out next to the railroad, and they brought in some cross ties. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been Penn Central Railroad. I don't really remember exactly what railroad it was, but they were unloading those cross ties by hand, getting employees down there in those gondolas and removing those cross ties by hand. Well, this guy's first name was Richard. I mentioned that already. He said, hey, I can get my track hoe, I keep saying track hoe, I can get my front end loader and backhoe up on that gondola, and I can get those cross ties out for you. And he said, I can unload all these gondolas in one day, where it's taking you one day to do one gondola. So that railroad hired him to get those cross ties out of that gondola. And that's how Richard got started in the railroad business. And you may know his company now as R.J. Corman. And they are huge. They do railroad work just about all over the world, and definitely all over the United States. And they own several short line railroads. And it just goes to show you, ingenuity can go a long way. It's a huge company now. Now R.J. Corman's, he died way too early from cancer, but his company still exists today, and that's how it got started. Okie dokie, here is the gondolas that we seen L248. Ugh. It's been bad stormy today. L248 bring up this morning, and they're all loaded with the standard cross ties. And when they get ready to set those out, they're going to use that tractor right there, which is a very unique piece of equipment. We've seen it in operation before in a past video. It has the knuckle folded back in the front there, similar to what you would see on the old streamlined steam engines and stuff. It folds back, and it has an air line and air cock valve there, and they will hook that to the gondolas and pull it along and pull those cars down the track and unload it. And the front wheel, the railroad top wheel, is right there, and that is the compression airbag that pushes that apparatus down onto the rails. And the bed's pretty unique on it. There's a few things on it that that operates, lifts up and moves around, but the majority of that is nothing but weight. And that is there's another, the rear set of wheels, and they are powered by that last axle. So that last axle touches the rail, and that's how it gets its force to be able to move around. And there's the rear knuckle, air line with the brake valve, piping. And I was hesitant about showing this because of what's up there on the roof. That is I can't see it from here, but I believe it's the Nathan air horn, and that's what they sound going across the crossings. It has the regular truck air horns on it, but their dBL or decibel is not loud enough to meet the requirements to clear a railroad crossing. So it has to have that additional horn on this truck to make it legal for them to operate across railroad crossings. Now you see a lot of times the little work vehicles, tie tampers and stuff like that, have got the regular kind of air horn off of like a pickup truck or something like that on it, but they're not loud enough. They don't meet that minimum requirement to clear a crossing. So, but that is one unique piece of equipment right there, and I hope that horn stays on it, because CSX has had some bad luck with that lately. But there's all kinds of people over here all the time, rail fans and workers, so this would not be a good place to try to steal something from. There's not a good place, period. But okie dokie, I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of information. Let's look at some cross ties while we're waiting on 92. Several bundles of standard ties. Here is a switch tie. And when I say switch tie, this goes from the outside of the switch track all the way across and ties in to the main line, and those get even longer. Here's some double main cross ties, and sometimes you'll see some of these used on the inside of a heavily used grade crossing. There's some more of the longer ties, and even standing right here, it's about to catch my breath. The creosote is absolutely pungent. It is definitely unique scent. You know exactly what it is. Alrighty, well, hope the storm will stay off by the lake and we can catch this northbound M692. Boy, I wish this train would hurry up. When you have a separation of clouds like that and one bank's moving faster than the other, that's not good. Instead of filming trains, I need to be home laying in my bathtub with my blanket. Come on, 692. I I think they're having some trouble up around the top of the mountain. 93 is got an unexpected stop signal at South End Toe River. Must be an old ex-Conrail unit leading with those low ditch lights. Safe trip, fellas. Okie dokie. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.